Well, Joe, it feels like sort of all your preparations go down the window with that opening 10 minutes. I mean, you just couldn't believe what you were seeing, I presume.
Well, you can do all the work in the week, like I said, the preparation, and we've not been beaten by Concord, no disrespect to them. We've beaten ourselves today. The 2 goals early in the game makes it a mountain to climb for the lads. You know, it's the first one's an obvious mistake. You give messages to them before the game and say that Wolves are handful, don't get involved in the tussle, don't give away free kicks because he wants to back in and full. We do that first, then the ball comes in the box, it's a poor clearance and they score from it. You can't account for mistakes like that. And the second one is actually our corner, and we don't lock out on the edge of the box and break free. One pass breaks us open and they go through and they're 1v1 with Ryan Clark. So two poor mistakes, 2 poor goals, and you're 2-0 down. We dominate the game. Of course, we dominate the game. We actually create a lot of chances ourselves. We should have scored first half. Waters had a good chance. Should maybe do better with. It's a blatant handball on the line. Everyone's seen it, bar the referee. Their player saying he's virtually caught the ball as well, which is frustrating. At the other end again, another good save from Ryan Brunt's header. Unbelievable save to low to his left for the keeper. Watto with another chance. James Morton goes close with a couple of shots, and one the keeper saves low again, and then it's a good goal from Sean Rigg, who's done well when he's gone on. But no, you can't in any game you can't go 2-0 down so early in the game, because what happens is it affects player confidence, and where they're used to keeping clean sheets for such a long period of the season, early goals affect players' confidence, and that's what it's done today. In regard of that we look a little bit loose in and around our defending third, not in regard of how we play, because our performance levels are still there. It's just at the moment we look a little bit loose and it looks like we're going to concede goals a little bit too easily.
Obviously, you can't take any positives from the result, but we mentioned pretty much as the game went on, they basically stuck Alex Wall up on the halfway line and had almost a 9-man defence. So I suppose encouraging the amount of chances which you did create, but clear frustration that you couldn't nick one until the very end.
Yeah, of course. You know, we spoke about it so many times that teams will just block us out. They'll drop back in, and like you say, he was isolated on his own. Ryan didn't have to pull off a save until one at the very end, where he's had to smother it. Where again we were a little bit loose. Other than that, there was nothing. We were the dominant team. Yeah, so performance levels, I'm not disappointed with the way we've played. I'm disappointed the fact that we've given away 2 silly goals again, and that's the difference in the last 2 weeks. It's been 2 poor defensive performances in key stages that have cost us a game. Now the players have tried their utmost. It's not effort, it's not application. They've tried their utmost, and everyone can see that. And they're thinking, the tactical stuff. They're trying to do things the right way. It's a concentration, or it's a confidence that in those key stages when you defend, the clearance has to be clean. You don't have to foul. If we're attacking, we've got to make sure we're locking the edge of the box out, and one pass doesn't cut us open straight away. Other than that, if you look at the game, the performance of the game, then you're by far the better side.
Did you prepare, perhaps knowing that you might have to do a back four? Was it so late on that Joe Romanski dropped out that you had to change it, perhaps?
If I'm being honest now, no, I had to do it so late because Joe Romanski phoned me this morning at 6:45 to say that he'd been up with food poisoning. So I don't want to use it as an excuse, Mark. You know, we've been playing with a back three, and we were going to set up with a back three today up until that point. But the players we've got in the team and us as a staff are good enough to be able to adapt and change. We've played 4-3-3 for large periods of last season, as you know, and large periods this season. So it wasn't the system, it wasn't the shape, it wasn't personnel. There's some players there that are obviously lacking a little bit of confidence. I'm not going to lie to you. There's some players that aren't quite hitting the same form as they have been, but that'll happen during the course of a season. You're not going to win every game, but what you can do is try and cut out these mistakes. And then in turn, what happens then is when you're in there attacking third, things don't quite fall for you, because that happens as well when you're in a little bit of a run of 2 games, and we call it a run, but it's only 2 games. The important thing now is that we get back on in these in the next home game and get 3 points at home, because that's key for us now. What we don't want to do is slip. I don't think we've lost 3 league games in a row since I've come into the job, and we certainly won't be doing that next week.
You mentioned pre-match you had really good options off the bench. It's very rare that you can use all 3 substitutes, because often it's sort of filled with defensive players, and we felt all 3 of them made an impact, even those that weren't on for very long.
No, they did. Yeah, I had to go careful with Watto, obviously, because that's his first start for such a long time. I think it's back in August, isn't it?
Since September.
September,
yeah. City,
yeah, September. So, yeah, I thought we did ever so well, but he's on that edge. When you get to that period of time, he's on the edge where he's susceptible to injury, strains, and he worked ever so hard. So, yeah, that one was quite a straightforward one. I just felt as if we needed a bit more presence. Ryan did ever so well when he went up top. Sean Rigg had an effect, and Ross did as well. So, listen, we have got now strength in depth. We've got people coming back. I'm hoping to have Kevin Manquil back next week as well. He's important to the squad, his experience, yeah. When things like this happen, you've got to make sure you have enough leaders around as well. And experience like Kevin's and Sean's, Ryan Brunt is invaluable really to a team, because it's important now we just don't get too carried away and say, look, we're on a bad run. We're not on a bad run. We've lost 2 games of football. That's all it is. And we'll make sure that we don't lose 3.
Just quickly on a player update, Joe Rains obviously missed out. You mentioned pre-match, he's got an injured foot. I think it was the first league game he's missed this season. Do you think he'll be back anytime soon?
I hope so. He's got a real nasty one in training on Thursday. He kicked the bottom of Jack Batten's boot actually in a game and in a little possession drill, and we thought he'd done his metatarsal. We really did. He went for an X-ray on Thursday night in the early hours, but thankfully it's only heavy bruising, but he struggled walking on it, let alone striking a football. So we'll see how it settles down, Mark, over the course of the next few days. With no bone damage in it, we're hoping it will be just a week or so, and hopefully he'll be back for next week.
And just finally, thoughts on the game against Slough next week. We only played recently the 0-0 draw back there, and quite a tight game. We had openings in there as well. The keeper pulled off a few stunning saves from memory.
Yeah, it'd be better on our pitch on the grass. We found that pitch was a little bit too quick with the artificial surface. Some of our normal passing, which you play in front of players, was running out. So I'd like to think we'll probably be a bit better. Yeah, they're a well-organised side, having different results, don't they? And they've got a threat, of course. But no, we'd fancy our chance against anyone at home, and we're really looking forward to that game. Well, I am already, because I want to try and get these ones out of the system. I will take a positive from it, because the second half performance, you win the game by 1-0 second half, and the performance is very, very good in terms of territory, even chances and efforts going in and creating chances, and that's the message we'll send back to the players this week.